So let's get into it. Ellen, you've written a fantastic piece with a fantastic graphic for theaustralian.com.au, and the headline reads, RBA raises interest rates for the fourth straight month. Jim Chalmers says it will make life pretty damn tough. Aussie homeowners will need to find an extra few $100s a month to pay their mortgage after the RBA hiked up interest rates for the fourth time in a row on Tuesday. The official cash rate is now at 50 basis points to 1.85, up from a record low of 0.1 as it was in May. It's also the first time the central bank has raised interest rates for 4 straight months since the RBA set its target of 2 to 3% inflation in 1990. Ellen, it's been a very big day in Canberra. How did the government react to today's news?
Well, the Reserve Bank decision dropped right smack bang in the middle of question time today. So as luck would have it, it was the question posed to Treasurer Jim Chalmers. He did say he recognised that today was an incredibly tough day for Australian families. I think for the average home loan, which is about $500,000, it's an extra $140 that they're going to have to find somewhere. That's competing with, you know, the rise in groceries and petrol prices and electricity bills. So the government has recognised that it is tough, but the Reserve Bank, they have said, is an independent body, and they respect that this is the role of the Reserve Bank. They have to hike up interest rates to keep up with that inflation, to try and bring it all back down.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel that Treasurer Jim Chalmers has been quite negative when it comes to the economy. I guess he's trying to prepare us for his October 25 budget. How do you think that this is going to impact, considering we've got a couple more meetings of the RBA before then?
Yeah, well, we know that the Reserve Bank is going to keep hiking up interest rates. I think they've said it will peak at about 3%. We know inflation is tipped to reach 7%. So the government has a fine line to straddle when it comes to the October budget, because it's their favourite talking point at the moment. The previous government left them $1 trillion in debt. Today's interest rate rise will mean that $1 trillion is going to become more expensive to service. So the government has to walk this fine line between trying to not exacerbate that debt by too much while also keeping the economy running. So they have to keep spending money. But we know that Labor has said that there will be significant cost of living relief in their October budget. That's going to be in the form of that cheaper childcare promise, the cheaper medicines. But we know that it won't be an extension to the fuel excise, for example.
Yeah, and that seems to be one of the things that the opposition have been harking on about. What are they saying in Canberra, Peter Dutton and David Littleproud? What are they saying about today's results and also the budget coming down in October?
Yeah, well, despite it being a coalition policy to halve the fuel excise just for 6 months and no longer because it is so expensive, the opposition has now turned on Labor and asked why they won't extend it. They're also going hard on the government as to why power bills aren't being slashed by $275. That was a key election promise that Labor made in the lead up. So that seems to be where the opposition is coming from at the moment. They're continuing their lines of Labor aren't good economic managers, and they're calling for Treasurer Jim Chalmers to do something significant and to do something fast.
Wow. Well, Ellen, it's never a dull moment in Canberra. A couple more sitting days for you, and then you get a bit of a break when they all head home. Ellen Ransley from The Australian, thank you so very much for joining us on The Front Page.